Thanks for stopping by the Hell Cat Dog Man page. Once again, this is for historical and entertainment purposes. I do not condone any illegal activity in regards to these dogs. And I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks again.
STPs, Bose Nasty, STPs. Bose Nasty was bred by the late Barney Fife. He took his best in show winner Vespers, CH Thunder X Mini Rum, to Garland McDaniel to breed to STP CH Black Tasmanian Rum, Euler JR Rum 2X, WX Ladybug. From this litter there were three brothers that would make anyone proud. STP SCH Nigel, Extreme Kennels Belfast 1XL Gamist and Show, and STPs. Bose, Nasty 2XW. Bo picked Nasty up from Garland's place as a young prospect. Garland had looked at him once, and told Bo he was a good prospect who liked the rear, and Bo loaded up the car with Nasty and a few other good dogs from Garland and headed north to upstate NY. Bo looked at Nasty about 5 times with the longest roll against the son of Chambers CH Black Paws Jr. named Leroy. Leroy got into Nasty's rear and from the release, Nasty pulled him out and went to punishing Leroy. Leroy's handler picked up in 20 minutes with Nasty wanting more. No other dog ever got back into Nasty's rear and again. Nasty was the smartest pit dog I've ever seen. Nasty went uphill 15 pounds on his last roll. Nasty was a 49-pound pit dog, so you can just imagine how big this dog was. From the release, Bo and Nasty were both knocked out of the box. It didn't take Nasty long to find his groove, and they picked up in 10 minutes. Bo decided to hook Nasty and Danger Boys picked up the weight 49 pounds. They used a dog named Jeff who was a very strong red dog. Bo traveled to New Jersey and the show was held in a small heavily crowded basement. It was super hot down there and the box was on the small side. Upon release, Nasty went straight to the head and took a ride. This was not Nasty's style, but he was so smart and was able to adapt. He did whatever he needed to do to win. It was as though he realized he was against an extremely strong opponent in a hot basement, and that he needed to conserve his energy. Nasty wore Danger Boy's charge out, and after a couple scratches as each, Danger Boy's dog stops at about the 40-minute mark. For number 2, Nasty was hooked into Eddie Foster, and a one-time winning son of CH Taz. There was a lot of talking going on by Foster and his camp. They told us Nasty didn't stand a chance against this dog. They said their dog was the hardest biting-faced dog alive, and he was going to rip Nasty's face off. I guess he took his last opponent's face off as and all. We put a hell of a keep on Nasty, and he was the hardest working dog I've ever had the pleasure of walking behind. He loved to work and had great natural air. Our keep consisted of lots of hand walking, dragging chains, power walks, treadmill, etc. Nasty took the keep great and we loaded up the truck and headed back to New Jersey. The show was held at a very nice spot, a huge warehouse with plenty of room, and not overcrowded. It was a very professional setup. Many of the game's most prominent players were in attendance, including STP, Jesse Rods, Strictly Business, and many others. The match was set at 49 pounds with Strictly Business Todd as the referee. I washed Foster's dog. I believe his name was Ray. He was a strong, well-shaped dog. He was a little on the short side but a good-looking dog nonetheless. Havana Chico washed Nasty. When it was time to take them to the box, Nasty nearly escaped Bo's arms trying to get at the other dog. His rangy neck extended as long and far as it would go. It was a sight. Upon release, Ray went straight to Nasty's nose and face and stayed there. They weren't lying when they said Ray was a wicked-faced dog. He stayed on the face and muzzle and worked it hard while Nasty kept focused and pushed Ray around the square. Nasty would get a hold here and there, but for the most part Ray did an outstanding job of staying out of trouble while giving Nasty's head and face a terrible chewing. A turn was called on Ray and he came true. Nasty's turn, and due to the terrible face chewing, Bo ran out the sponge of water on Nasty's face to try to clean the blood off of his face, eyes, and nose. Well, when Todd said release your dog, Nasty was a little discombobulated from having all that water in his eyes and face. At the 2-3 count, Nasty came hard. This drew some oohs and ahs from the crowd, thinking Nasty was going to quit. I told Bo not to empty out the sponge in his face like that anymore. Nasty chased Ray for about 5-10 more minutes before he decided to go to plan B. At about the 30 to 35 minute mark, Nasty decided to fight Ray at his own game, and went to work in mouth. Ray on the top of Nasty's muzzle with Nasty working the bottom jaw. It wasn't long before Nasty had Ray's bottom jaw broken, and half of his tongue off. A handle is made and Ray comes gamely. Nasty's turn to go, and without any water in his face he is shooting out of the corner like a rocket. Nasty is now in the rear, and Ray is pretty much useless as he can't use his mouth anymore. Another handle is made and Ray stands a line at about the hour mark. Nasty comes hard on his courtesy. Everyone in attendance was impressed. Jesse Rods congratulated us and told us how impressed he was with Nasty. He helped us run a line of fluids into him while we talked. Chambers, who owned and campaigned CH Black Paws Jr., commented that he's not sure if JR would have been able to take the punishment Nasty took and keep coming the way he did. We'll never know because JR was a bad dog in his own right and got everyone he faced out of there in under an hour. STP was so impressed with Nasty they bought him from Bo a year or so later. Nasty was hooked into Havana Boys and TDK CH Noriega for his championship. Unfortunately, this never took place as Bo brought Nasty in 3 or so pounds overweight. Due to time constraints with school, I was unable to help work Nasty. Bo had a friend of his help, but he admitted they cut corners and that they failed the dog. Not long afterwards, Nasty was sold to STP, and due to missing hardware, he was retired to stud. STP, who also owned Nasty's brother CH Nigel, remarked that he thought Nasty was a better dog than Nigel. I'm taking nothing away from Nigel, as anyone would have been proud to own him. I'm just making the point that even though Nasty was not a recognized champion, he was as good as or better than many recognized champions. Nasty went on to produce some very good dogs. GRCHOJ, CH Manny Quest, Bandit 2XW, 1XLDG, and many others. I personally saw so many great dogs off of Nasty fall into the wrong hands. Wasted dogs in the wrong hands. Same story everywhere, I'm sure. There is no telling how many of these dogs would have gone on to become great dogs if they were in the right hands. In closing, Nasty was a 1 in a million type of dog, and I was blessed to be a part of such a great one. You will always be remembered, old boy.